is a response video to MZ Loneliness's video on what to wear for shit hit the fan. And I'll try to get a link to her channel in my description. But this also goes to something that Main Prepper brought up in one of his videos a while back. Main Prepper is one of the guys who advocates, a lot of tactical gear, a lot of, very obviously tactical equipment for somebody in a shit hit the fan situation. I'm not quite sure how these folks want to apply that to bug out. But there's a few issues that brings us into, some can be really serious, depending on who's taking that advice. And among a lot of the former military people like myself, I'm a kind of a minority opinion, but it's also based on what the rules were when I was on active duty. When I was on active duty, you pretty much were not allowed to wear your uniform off base. Now, I go to Fort Lewis from time to time, and I notice a lot of those people wear their uniform off base, but apparently the rule is a little bit restrictive. It's basically to and from duty. So after work, if they stop at a convenience store, a surplus store, 7-Eleven in uniform, that's okay, but that's still basically during the course of a duty day. When I was in the Marine Corps, you just weren't allowed to be seen in your camis off base. I was from the woodland camo generation, so I kind of got this stuff to be cool. And the other thing is I like the pocket designs and all that stuff. Multicam, I was people were trying to sell me on that before the Rangers picked it up. So I'm not trying to do any wannabe stuff. I'm just trying to have effective camo. But there's some times when I'm in a surplus store or I'm at someplace buying this stuff, and somebody who is on active duty will maybe look at my weight or the length of my hair and start making comments about wannabes and has-beens. And we have to realize that that little bit of a snide comment that somebody might make behind your back when you're in a WROL and there is no rule of law and people know they can get away with anything they want, somebody who might make a snide comment behind your back because there's a little tinge of jealousy or something of something you're buying, that person might be the one who puts a bullet in your back just to take your shit because they can, because they know they will get away with it. And that's one of the things you got to kind of deal with. It's not just a fashion issue. What people think of you, how you're dressed, who might be taking your advice on that stuff. Because if you really project this whole aura of I'm a badass and I'll take anybody on anywhere, anytime, and you're in a situation where you're outnumbered or outgunned or you're just simply in a bad position alone, then you have to adjust that from time to time. That's like with Main Prepper. You're not always going to be the platoon sergeant with a whole platoon around you. You're not always going to be the guy who has to impress a bunch of specialists and PFCs with I'm a badass and I'll lead you to the fire and back, that sort of thing. So a lot of that's going to be situation dependent. Now, what MZ Loneliness was talking about on the durability and strength of military uniform stuff, she's absolutely right. There's really a lot to be said about the durability, especially this new, I think they call it Battle Rip fabric from Proper. There's a few different grades of cloth that are used with the multicam stuff. And some of it's an extremely tough material. Really will last. You'll see welding projects in some of my other videos, and that's why I'll get little burn holes in a lot of my clothes. And when you see the little burn holes and stuff, I noticed that I got some t-shirts from Walmart where they get a little weld slag. I mean, half the shirt wants to disintegrate. The polypropylene shirts, boy, they just poof if they get weld slag on them. This Battle Rip stuff just gets a tiny little hole and that's it, and it seems to smother itself out. Somebody told me there's Nomex or some kind of fire resistant stuff in the clothing. I gotta say, yeah, there probably is. I really like the extra pockets. I like the durability on the clothes. I like some of these I think have, the Marine Corps version has a little Velcro there. The Army one has the buttons. And, you know, it's really cool until somebody during a shit hit the fan, you know, decides they want to think that you're a combatant. Or they want to think, hey, it's open season. You know, our unit is the authority in this zone. This guy's not from our unit. He may not even be in the military. He's dressed and acting as if he is or could be a combatant. Let's kill him and take his shit because we know we can get away with it. And it doesn't matter whether he's a threat or not. He's got some shit we want, and we just want to kill him and take his shit. That mentality, I hate to say it, I think is going to grow in prevalence among military and law enforcement once they realize they will not be prosecuted for anything. One of the reasons I say that is because of what happened at Hurricane Katrina, and there has not been any significant change in the way these people are briefed or in the way they're told to treat the civilian population. There's been no change in that. We saw that with the Christopher Dorner incident. We saw that with the aftermath of the Boston bombing. They are going to have contempt for the lives of the civilian population first, and then show mercy second. And that's only if they feel they're being sufficiently supervised not to be shooting and looting all the time. Now, that's whether or not you are traveling in a group or alone. You want to have the options. And yeah, BDUs, ACUs, whatever, modern uniforms are definitely a good option just from a practicality standpoint. I would also say that if you're guarding a retreat or you're on what you feel is safe ground and you're going to assert your authority in a location, that may also be a little bit more appropriate. We want to get into civilian clothes that are going to be just as durable, and yeah, it's dicey and it can get expensive, except that what I found is brand new multicams are kind of expensive too. But over here I have Wrangler pants that are their cargo pants, and I notice they kind of vary a little bit. Their ripstop nylon stuff isn't super durable. The cloth stuff, it's Walmart, it's 30 bucks a pair. This pair seems to have lasted me quite a while, and I'm really hard on clothes. The other option that I would say is just as good as anything that's military issue is a Duluth Trading fire hose pants. They have a few different styles on these things. This one's called the Flex Fire Hose. It's got a little bit of spandex in the fabric so that you know, if somebody bends over, it's not going to split. It's a lot of flexibility in these pants. I buy them a little bit loose fitting for work. I'll wear them with suspenders. And they have usually about the same features as BDUs. This is a flex fire hose, so it doesn't have the knee pad pockets, but a lot of the other fire hose pants do from Duluth Trading. Very durable, very good stuff. Among people who know clothes and might be able to read product labels or kind of have an idea what they're looking at, they're going to hopefully figure out this is not bum wear. So if a guy's kind of dirty and wearing this stuff, it's not vagrant wear. I hate to say it, but if somebody's wearing woodland BDUs, regular woodland BDUs, that kind of has a public perception of being vagrant wear. Although I like woodland BDUs, I just don't wear them much anymore. I'm over 40, I have long hair and a beard. I don't want to walk into restaurants and be shown the door right away. And if I dress a certain way, that's kind of what's going to happen. So I have to, yeah, I want to be the backwoods guy and everything, but I have to upscale just a little bit, or else somebody's going to just conclude that I'm some vagrant and treat me that way. So I have to dress up a little bit within the genre of how I decide to look. With women it may be different, but when we're talking about what to wear when shit hit the fan, don't just limit yourself to military uniforms. You're going to run out of options really quick. And that's going to get into the really most important critical issue on having military uniforms or wearing a military uniform or something that really looks like a military uniform during a shit hit the fan situation. It's a very critical issue, and I'm going to deal with it in the next video.